Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. In today's video, I'm going to be summoning on the Windswept Warriors Summon Showcase. Today is the last day to do so, and it's also the last day for the Skyborn Spectacle raid, so make sure you finish off everything you wish to. Tomorrow, of course, we're getting 2 new Void Battles, we're getting Chapter 10 of the campaign, and another daily free summon event is starting for the next Summon Showcase, Knights of Glory. So before we get into our summoning for Noelle today, I want to briefly mention Knights of Glory. I think this is a really awesome showcase. It's a normal showcase, not limited in any way, but what's really cool about this is that it actually pays direct homage to a previous Cygames property called Knights of Glory, which served as a major inspiration for Dragalia Lost. There are comparison images you can look up on the Reddit that basically show how there's lots of one-to-one links from characters in that game and characters in Dragalia Lost. So it's really fun to see where some of our adventurers and dragons came from. You can even see in the typography of the name of the showcase there how it pays direct homage and it's a direct nod to Knights of Glory. So this showcase starts at reset and lasts for 7 days, right up until the point where High Zodiarch comes out and we get our anniversary countdown bonus beginning. And the featured 5-star here probably looks familiar to you. Her name is Leia. She's a flame sword, and she was featured on the Flower in the Fray Wormprint artwork that's been part of the game since it released. So it is another flame sword, which is a very saturated pool, but it's cool to finally get her in the game. She is an attack type with good stats. They definitely favor strength, and she has 2 attacking skills, which is great. Road to Glory has the ability to inflict burn, which is going to synergize nicely with the dragon we'll take a look at in just a moment. The animation on this looks really similar to the 3rd skill on 5-star core swords. It's kind of a attack combo that ends in a jump. And she also has Floral Revolution, which is really similar to Fjorm's 2nd skill. So basically this tanks some damage, and based on how much damage she takes, you deal bonus damage when this skill finally releases. So there's a base amount of damage it always deals, and then extra damage on top of that, depending on how much damage she tanks with it. So pretty cool to actually get that on a non-limited adventurer. She has Dragon Haste, being a sword adventurer of course, and a really simple but cohesive ability set. So Force Strike of plus 50%, only seen on Albert and Xander right now, both of whom are very powerful. It does mean that she's going to do a lot better in the player's hands than the AI hands, because the AI is not going to be spamming Force Strike outside of Overdrive, which you kind of want to do with an adventurer like this. But she also has Striking Haste of plus 12%, so unlike Xander, who kind of has a specialized niche of wave clears, that Striking Haste works in pretty much any mode, and hopefully her skill SP cutoffs are designed around this. We'll have to take a look at that, but I would imagine it will be. It will at least do something, or maybe do something in combination with some good worm prints. And then she has Stun Res of 100%, which right now makes her good against High Midgard Stormer, but that's not a very high bar. And I would imagine with her being a newer unit, her DPS, at least in the player's hands, should also make her quite good for the Wind Mercurial Gauntlet. So the thing I mentioned about her first skill inflicting burn, it interacts with the 5-star dragon, Apollo, and Apollo's basically mentioned in that worm print if you read the story as well. It talks about the Apollonian Colosseum, so it kind of makes reference to Apollo in that sense, as the guardian of Apollonia. Apollo has a skill Arrow of Glory that inflicts burn and reduces defense by 5%. It shoots out, so it looks like it can hit at range if you watch the trailer video that came out alongside this. Flame Strength of plus 50%, and then Flame Burning Punisher of plus 20%. So basically Apollo is the Flame Pazuzu. Whereas Pazuzu works on poison for wind adventurers, Apollo does the same thing but for flame and burning. The unfortunate thing about Apollo is there's already a really good worm print, Elegant Escort, that gives 30% Burning Punisher. So really, when you look at Apollo's role, it's not quite as essential as Pazuzu's, and honestly, you can see with the release of Vayu just how quickly Pazuzu could get eclipsed. And so I think that for most adventurers who rely on skill damage, Apollo is not going to be the preferred dragon. It's probably still going to be Konohana Sakuya, but you just run an Elegant Escort Wyrmprint on her or with her if you're using a burn-focused team comp. That said, the big weakness of those skill damage dragons is that the strength stat is low, meaning force strike damage is low, and so for, say, sword adventurers, their overdrive damage per second, the rate at which they can break a boss, is kind of poor with a skill damage dragon. It's kind of weak with a skill damage dragon. When you substitute in someone like Apollo, you can easily compensate for that. So I do think that Apollo will definitely be the preferred dragon of choice on Valentine's Orion, and it's highly likely that in a practical sense, he would be on Leia as well. She might still be able to run Konohana Sakuya, to be honest, because she's going to have 3 attacking skills, and that's just really good. But in a practical sense, if you want to be breaking with her quickly with these nice force strike focused abilities, Apollo is a good dragon for her. It's just hard to recommend unbinding him when we have this skill damage dragon meta right now. So the other adventurer who's not shown here but was in the trailer, you can see her here, she's kind of got like a cat girl hood, is called Emma. She's also in the background art and in the story of the Flower in the Fray Wyrmprint, which is pretty cool. And Emma is actually a dedicated buff bot, so she has 2 buff skills, which is very unusual. You can see her there. And her first skill buffs all Flame Adventurer strength on the team by 25%, which is awesome. It's continuing what we're seeing with Noelle, which is kind of why I'm summoning for Noelle right now. And her second skill buffs the defense of all Flame members on the team and creates a shield for them, a 1U shield. So both skills seem reasonable. That defense debuff is not bad considering strength double buff is a thing on adventurers like Ramona. Reina has some double buff interaction, so there's ways to have it interact with your team in Flame, and that plus 25% buff on her first skill is just absurd. This is kind of the way that they're power creeping Elisanne as a helper at a minimum, and I will say she's not quite in that prestige tier of Noelle, just because Noelle also has the skill damage co-ability. So that is the one thing that I think kind of makes Noelle better right now than Emma will be. But that aside, everything else about Emma looks really good. And you could still pick up that skill damage co-ability on, say, a Student Maribel, or even a Xania or Sonoa in your team comp if you're lacking Gala Cleo. So she looks really awesome, but I think there's a higher chance I'll pick her up via free summon since we're getting those, and we didn't get them for much of Windswept Warriors. I didn't end up getting Noelle off daily deals. I randomly got a Liger. Right now my appearance rate is I need 4 summons to increase my 5-star rate. I don't know if I'll actually break my pity rate here, but we're gonna try, just using tickets, pick up a copy of Noelle. That's our goal today. I decided that I still have over 300 summons for the anniversary, and that's not counting any freebies that I end up getting as part of the anniversary countdown bonus. Here we're gonna get a 5-star, so not Noelle, but I'll take it. I hope it's something really good, maybe a Vayu. It is a dragon. It's a Garuda! That's actually really awesome. I'm glad to get a Garuda. You may be wondering why I'm glad to get a Garuda, and it's because I want to have a plus 60% HP dragon for my Eleonora, because right now that's the only way to get her in, really, to High Brunhilde's trial. I cleared High Brunhilde's trial with her back in the day when we had what ended up being a glitch where you could revive a character who had died. Because of that glitch, I never needed a Garuda on my Eleonora. but now I want to clear it the legit way and do it without her having died at the beginning of the match. And in order to do that, I actually need a Garuda, so now my Garuda has been unbound twice, and that's pretty good for me. So the rest of these 3 stars are kind of unremarkable. I was saying that I just want to keep 300 summons for the anniversary. There has been talk of sparking lately. If you're not aware, sparking is basically a system where after you do a certain number of summons, you're guaranteed to be able to pick one of the focus units. This was recently implemented in another Cygames game called Shadowverse. It's their TCG. And so it's in a lot of Cygames games at this point, and so there is a possibility that that could get added as a feature to Dragalia Lost. If it's added, I feel like 300 might be a reasonable amount of summons to say, if you do this much, you can pick a 5-star on the banner of your choice. I was doing the math on that, and I think it works out that if you wanted to target a Gala 5-star focus, so basically the Gala adventurer who's new, about 80% of people who were sniping it or trying to target it would pull it within 300 summons. So if they set the, I already forgot what it was called. Hang on, let me retrieve that from my mind. If they set the sparking system, that's what I was going for, at around 300 summons, then it would catch that 1 in 5 or that 5th person who missed and was unlucky and didn't actually get their Gala focus within that many summons. We just did 9 singles since our Garuda and didn't get any 4 stars, I don't think, so let's keep going. I don't think we're going to dip into Wormite here at all. I have about 40 summons on tickets, and I'm going to save my tenfold here and just keep doing singles because really, as soon as I get Noelle, I'm willing to stop. I was thinking about just leaving Noelle and sort of just letting myself be happy with a random Noelle down the road, but it has taken me a while to pick up Nurse Eileen. I haven't gotten her yet, and she's the only 4-star right now that I'm missing, and I feel like Noelle could end up similar. If I don't get her now, it might take me quite a while, so I'm at least going to use my tickets and see if I get her this way. But if not, we'll sort of just cut our losses, save our Wormite for the anniversary, and then maybe we'll end up getting lucky and pick her up anyway. So, a lot of 3 stars. There's a Melody. Okay, what are we gonna get? Another 3-star. A lot of these 3-star dragons, now that I've max unbound and max leveled, one of each, I don't really plan to keep the rest of these, even though, I did get a Fubuki here, so I know some people would get excited about that, but at this point, there's not really a whole lot of purpose to these dragons. It's another good question that other people have raised. Will we be getting more 4-star dragons, maybe even more 3-star dragons ever? Is that something the game actually plans to implement? Because we have not gotten any since Halloween Silk, and that's almost a year ago at this point. Speaking of Halloween Silk, another thing that came up recently was there were some changes in the music files. Whoa, okay, put that on pause. A 5-star, another dragon, and we got ourselves a Bayou. That is super good. Okay, even at 1 copy, these skill damage dragons are really good. It's hard to make the exact comparison to how good they are compared to a max unbound 4-star, but if you look at the 70% skill damage, that is no joke. The strength at 10% is the really big poor point or weak point for these dragons though, so it can be better than a max unbound 4-star dragon, but I think your character needs to be doing a lot of skill damage. So I'm not sure if it is for all characters. That's a calculation you can try to make. But now since we only have 9 singles left, at this point, I don't know that I want to spend my tenfold voucher, actually, because we're going to start a pity rate. We just broke a pity rate, but if we spend our tenfold voucher, we're going to start one that we can't break easily. even though Noelle could be in that circle. And on the other hand, if we spend our singles, we're going to end up maybe spending 9 singles and then not be able to use one more to increase it. So I feel like we're in exactly the awkward situation where I don't want to continue and try to get Noelle. We ended up getting a lot out of around 20 singles. Not a lot, but at least we got 2 5-stars, which basically that's a lot for me at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here. We didn't get Noelle, so she'll have to be something that I look forward to picking up in the future. Thankfully, my Gala Cleo is pretty heavily invested at this point, so I'm not hurting for Noelle's presence in my win team. And Gala Cleo can kind of carry the load and fill that role. I'm definitely not planning on spending any stones on this Garuda as much as I want to do that Eleonora meme clear with her. So I'm going to continue to try to naturally unbind her, and this is one step toward that. In any case, everyone, that's going to do it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching, even though we didn't end up with Noelle. I hope you enjoyed the analysis of the upcoming banner as well. Definitely let me know what you think about all of that in the comments below. I'm not planning on doing a review or anything for that banner, so the next content you'll see from me will be about the new Void battles, and then I'll give it a couple days. I'll make something about the story once more people have had a chance to play through it. So, once again, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you as always for watching. Have yourself a great day. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.